Does anybody remember laughter? Luckily, Mel Brooks does. Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Reviews by Josh. My name is Josh Terry and well, it's been a little while. Welcome to all of my new viewers and of course welcome back to all of my old viewers. It's been a little while since I put something up on the channel, but I figured now is as good a time as any. I wanted to do something a little bit special for my first time back because it's kind of an interesting time. It's kind of a special time and I thought this would be kind of a fun way to get back into the swing of things. As I started trying to figure out things to watch during the beginning of the shutdown, since there weren't any new movies coming out, I started looking at some comedies and I realized that this is kind of a good time to laugh. And of course I'd already been marathoning through The Office and I rewatched all of 30 Rock, which is fantastic. One of the movies though that I picked out was one I wasn't a little bit sure about and I was a little hesitant to check it out, but I rewatched Spaceballs. Spaceballs was a movie that came out in 1987, back when I was a kid growing up in the 80s. And like Naked Gun and like Airplane, it's kind of one of these slapstick spoof movies. It's a lot of fun. I always kind of put it about a step down from Naked Gun and from Airplane and even from Raising Arizona, which really isn't a spoof movie, but is really one of my favorite comedies. My Mel Brooks stuff was kind of hit and miss for me. I really enjoyed Young Frankenstein. Really was very disappointed by Robin Hood Men in Tights. And Spaceballs was kind of right in the middle there, where I remember it had some good moments. I remember enjoying it, but I also remember it being a little bit on the poop joke side of the spectrum. And so a little bit of hesitation going in, but I am pleased to report that it holds up. It was a fun movie. I'd give it a solid 3 stars out of 4. For anybody who hasn't seen it or hasn't seen it in a really long time, as I hadn't, Spaceballs is almost a straight beat for beat parody of Star Wars, the original New Hope Star Wars from 1977, with the exception that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker's characters are basically combined into the same protagonist. And the character is called Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, the guy who was the president from Independence Day. He was in While You Were Sleeping. Princess Vespa is the Princess Leia parody, played by Daphne Zuniga. John Candy is the Chewbacca character. He plays a half dog, half man named Barf. And he and Lone Star fly around the universe in a interstellar Winnebago, which is a lot of fun. So for the most part, in terms of the plot, the bad guys are the Spaceballs, and they're led by a Darth Vader character who's really short, played by Rick Moranis, him from Ghostbusters. And yeah, it pretty much just kind of plays out where the bad guys are chasing the princess, because if they get a hold of her, they can convince her dad to sacrifice the planet's atmosphere because the Spaceballs atmosphere is no good. And it's really just kind of an excuse to have a bunch of jokes about Star Wars, about popular culture, and about sci-fi and all that kind of thing. And it's a lot of fun. Like I said, going into it, I was a little bit apprehensive because I remember just kind of thinking that it was fun at the time, but some people describe it as one of those movies you have to be in a particular mood to watch, which can mean a good thing or a bad thing. But in this case, it was more intellectual. It was a smarter movie than I remember it being. There's a lot of waka jokes. Mel Brooks humor is a particular style to it. A lot of wordplay and a lot of slapstick, very vaudevillian, and not always my cup of tea per se as far as comedy goes. But there's a lot of intelligent stuff in there as well. There's a lot of meta humor where they're playing around with the concept of the movie and the comedy. In fact, there's one great classic scene where they actually put in a copy of the movie and watch it while the movie is playing, and then they get confused and have this who's on first exchange because they can't figure out that what they're watching on the monitor is happening in real time. My personal favorite scene is still just a quick little clip. It's the Comb the Desert scene. I won't give anything else away there. But you got lots of great cameos. Of course, Mel Brooks himself plays a lot of side characters. He plays kind of a Yoda parody. And of course, instead of the Force, it's the Schwartz, because he wants to, Mel Brooks always kind of has the ethnic Jewish humor. That's a lot of fun. And you see Joan Rivers is in there playing a C-3PO character. And for those of you who are fans of the Alien franchise, John Hurt makes an appearance towards the end. It's a lot of fun as well. So as I said, overall, I would still give the movie kind of 3 stars out of 4, and I would still keep it as the tier below the Airplanes and Naked Guns of the comedy universe. But for a time like now, when I think we have many reasons to laugh and to remind ourselves that there are things that are good and funny in the world, I would highly recommend Spaceballs. It turned up on Netflix a little while ago. Wasn't sure I wanted to jump into it again, but I'm glad I did. It's rated PG, although probably these days it would have gotten a PG-13 because they do use the F word one time. There's some scatological and sexual suggestive type humor, nothing really explicit, some profanity as I mentioned, but kind of in the PG, just barely into PG-13 territory there for those interested. But overall, one that I think I would recommend, certainly at a time like this. So thanks again for tuning in. It's been good to see you guys again. Make sure to subscribe and keep your notifications on so you can see the new videos when they come out. Be safe out there, be smart, and we'll see you soon.